Roles and responsibilities were being assigned and changed constantly in the last few weeks in Magia. The upcoming invasion of Mecca was no mere feat about to be set upon by everyone in this part of the continent Skyla on the planet Ruma. It was a very hands-on approach that was necessary to make the preparations needed to pull this off. Now that all Magians, normal Rumans, and Glavolu alike were on the same page, it was time to put that new alliance to work. Egeria, a fairy who often acted as a mediator between the Magian Rumans and Glavolu, no longer needed to do so now that there was peace among Magia, so her role had changed exponentially. Neron, leader of the Glavolu, and Claudius, the Emperor of Magia, didn't often agree on much, but they both agreed that Egeria would be in charge of making sure everything was running smoothly, and reporting to them if things were not. Due in part to being a fairy and being able to fly around from place to place at great speeds with hardly anything able to hinder her, Egeria was able to make sure that preparations in the outposts in the Glavolu forests were being completed on time, and then able to check on preparations directly in Magia as well, all within the same day or two. Being able to then communicate directly with Neron and Claudius shortly after making her rounds made her an invaluable asset to Magia. In her rare instances of downtime, Claudius and Neron assigned her another task. Not long before the civil war in Magia was diffused, a young fairy named Claire arrived in the Glavolu territories. Claire had a vision that helped her predict the outcome of the civil war, and her vision indirectly led to the end of the conflict between the two warring sides of Magia. If Claire could tap into her clairvoyant powers once more and predict what Sybil's next move was, this could be the difference maker in whether or not Magia can actually defeat the cyborg goddess standing between them and unifying the continent of Skyla. Therefore, the other task given to Egeria was to assist Claire in trying to tap into her powers. Along with Egeria was Sai, the leader of the Magian Council, who also performed a lot of experiments and tests on Magians to enhance their magical abilities. Though Sai was very busy with the preparations for the invasion, the rare downtime he had was spent with Claire helping her tap into her powers. They tried many different ways to help her, most of which involved concentrating through meditations and trying to amplify her powers through other magical means, but nothing seemed to work. Along with the visions, Claire was able to grow in size. As compared to a fairy like Egeria, she was much smaller in her default state. This power they easily managed to help her hone, and she was able to control it at will now. Being able to tap into the vision power was eluding her. They ran many tests and experiments involving other Magians whose powers could potentially help bring out Claire's, or enhance them, but they once again barely made any progress. In the meantime, there was the issue of Makara Gate. When reporting to Claudius, Egeria would often find him within his villa in the Empire. However, the last few times she needed to report to Neron, she had to travel a bit further to the Makara Gate. The Glavolu and some of the Magians living in the Empire that Claudius sent with them were making camp just outside parts of the gate. Tero, the imp god who constructed the enchantment that prevented Magians from entering Mecca, was working with the crocodile god Sero to provide means for the Magians to get through the gate. However, per Luna's suggestion, entering the gate from just one spot would funnel them into an easy counterattack for Sybil, so they had to make plans to attack from multiple parts of the gate. Otherwise, the fight would be over before it even started. Neron took this responsibility on himself since he wouldn't be of much help in the Empire. Every time Egeria visited him to report in, Neron and those working with him had made some progress, but a lot of their time was spent waiting around for Tero to deliver more enchanted items to help them pass through the gate. There were so many factors at play here that needed to work and needed to be executed to perfection if they had any chance of defeating Sybil and Mecca. It didn't help that there was no way to find out exactly what Sybil was planning on the other side of the gate. Sai had sent 2 Magians in through teleportation magic to get intel, but their reports were few and far between. Plus, they couldn't get close enough to Sybil to give direct reports on the cyborg goddess, so while their intel was helpful for other reasons, the real information that Magia needed was not arriving when they needed it most. This brings us back to Claire and the importance of her powers. If Claire could get even the tiniest glimpse of what Sybil was planning or what was coming in the next few days, it could be the difference maker in their victory. It could also give them an idea if this tactic was even going to work at all. If Claire could envision their defeat, then perhaps she could provide information that could help turn that defeat into a victory. Then one day something just clicked. Claire's powers awakened. Her eyes turned a clear color as she spoke with Egeria before she passed out. She left someone to watch over her as she quickly rushed to get Sai. When they returned, Claire was just laying there as if she were asleep. "How long has she been like this?" asked Sai. Egeria flew next to the bed. "The moment it started happening, I came to get you." Seems to be a long vision," added Sai. "I wonder what she's seeing. We need to be prepared for the worst. If we are going to lose this battle, we'll need to adjust almost all of our preparations. This could set us back weeks." Egeria looked concerned. "Do your Magians on the inside have that kind of time?" Sai crossed his arms. "Probably not. Let's just hope for good news." As if Claire was awakened by their words, she shot up quickly. She was suddenly breathing heavily and sweating. "Oh no," she said. "Something worked. How bad is it?" asked Sai. "Did you see her? Did you see Sybil?" Claire tried to stop her hands from shaking. Egeria tried to comfort her. "What is it, Claire? Tell us." I didn't see a vision of the future. I saw a vision of the present. Something that is happening right now." Sai looked at Egeria, then back at Claire. "Is it something Sybil is doing?" "The Makara gate, it's opening. And it's not Neron's doing." "Mecca's coming into Magia?" Egeria flew up quickly. "I have to warn Claudius." "Go," shouted Sai. "Claire, who is coming through the gate? Is it an army?" Claire shook her head. "No, not an army. It's just her. It's just Sybil."